Selamat siang. Residents question tourist levy for Nusa Penida and Bali's economy in 2023 will grow in the range of 5 to 5.8%. Wow. Okay, stay tuned for details. Selamat siang. Once again, welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is December 8th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. What's the weather like today? Still no rain in Buleleng, or in Singaraja anyway. The temperature is a toasty 32.9 degrees Celsius. Humidity is 69%, and the wind speed is 8.4 kilometers per hour. Looked like it was going to rain yesterday. Some friends were visiting. A lot of thunder. Decided to go home early. They took off. No rain. Thunder just stopped all of a sudden. And today, well, it was really overcast this morning. I figured it was going to rain. And, well, it's cleared up again. So we're not getting rain. And that is impacting the price of food. And we're going to talk about that later. So I hope you enjoy the weather wherever you are. I mean, I'm enjoying the weather, but we do need the rain. And so let's get into it first. Residents question tourist levy for Nusa Penida. Roads still damaged. Destinations not yet arranged. Levies put on tourists coming to Nusa Penida are still in the spotlight of residents. Even though the levies have been implemented since 2019, according to residents, not all infrastructure in Nusa Penida has been completely repaired. Likewise, the arrangement and facilities at tourist destinations are also considered inadequate by local residents. A resident of Nusa Penida questioned whether the levies put on tourists were intended to build the infrastructure in Nusa Penida. He asked whether the levy has been allocated to organize and add facilities at tourist destinations or what is being done with this. He said, is the government's arrangement at tourist destinations already underway? I see that popular destinations such as Broken Beach, Kelingking Beach have not been arranged properly. Toilet facilities are still difficult, he said. He hopes that the levies on tourists coming to Nusa Penida can be fully allocated to support tourism on the island. For example, he said, infrastructure and destination planning. If possible, he said, our hope is that the money from the levy will be fully allocated for tourism purposes in Nusa Penida. In addition to that, the levy collection system also needs to be improved. He said, I see that it's still being done manually, so it's very vulnerable to leaks. You know what that means. The head of the Kelingking Regency Tourism Office explained that in a day, the average income that goes into Kelingking budget from tourist fees to Nusa Penida is as much as 40 million rupiah. He said the budget was also allocated for infrastructure development in Nusa Penida. In 2023, he said the district government has already repaired quite a lot of roads in Nusa Penida. However, infrastructure improvements must be carried out in stages, he said, because the regional government still has a limited budget. Apart from that, there are roads to destinations that have not been addressed yet because of land constraints. He said there's land still owned by people who do not want to let go of their land so that it cannot be paved. He said, we are working on things, but it's being done in stages. In 2024, he said, we'll start installing cliff safety fences and arranging stairs at Kelingking Beach. Hopefully, we can start in January, when it's going to be raining. Because the budget is limited, we will, of course, carry this out in stages as well. He said he's received information that further arrangements for the port in Nusa Penida will be carried out in 2024, including road access, and that's going to be repaired. He also said he doesn't deny that levies are collected using a manual system and that they're vulnerable to leakages. Apart from that, he said, with this being done manually, it makes it difficult to monitor the amount of incoming levies. If it's manually said first, we have to wait. The money is calculated manually. If it's digitized, if it's digital, it can be systematized into the account, and so we can keep track of the money much more easily. Currently, the tourism department admits that it's looking for a pattern for implementing an efficient digital levy collection system. and not just digitally systemized levy, but also to make it more easy and practical for tourists to pay their fee. As an initial stage, the levy post at Devil's Tears in Lambongan village in Nusa Penida is using a digital levy system with the EDC, Electronic Data Capture System, and he said the evaluation has shown that the system is running quite smoothly. However, the tourism office must look for another pattern for the system if it's going to be implemented, because the harbor and other places receive many more tourists per day. He said when implementing digital systems at other posts, things have to be taken into account, such as human resources and the internet signals at levy posts. But of course, he said, our future direction is digital collection. Based on data from the Klungkung Tourism Office from January through October of this year, there were 575,932 tourists in Nusa Penida. Based on the Regional Regulation number 5 of 2018 concerning levies for recreation and sports places, the amount of levies for foreign tourists entering Nusa Penida is regulated. And for adult foreign tourists, the levy is 25,000 rupiahs, and children pay 15,000 rupiah. So the money is coming in, but according to some residents anyway, changes are not happening fast enough in terms of infrastructure. And isn't that something that is complained about around the whole island? And we're all waiting to see what's going to happen in February once the money starts rolling in from the 150,000 people are going to pay. Are they going to use it to clean up the trash, as they said, up to 70% of it? Is it going to be used for cultural improvement, a cultural expansion? Is it going to be used for infrastructure? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, second story. Good news on the economy. Bali's economy in 2023, according to Bank Indonesia, Bali will grow in the range of 5 to 5.8%. The factor of foreign tourists visiting 5.25 million people. Deputy Chief Representative of Bank Indonesia in Bali said that the Bali economy in 2023 will grow 5.35% in the third quarter. Well, that was just passed in the third quarter, so I wonder if it did. The national growth for this period is 4.94%, so Bali is ahead. And the reason why the growth here in Bali is higher than national? Tourism. In 2024, with the continued recovery of tourism, continued development of strategic projects, holding domestic and international events, and supported by productive financing and digitalization, Bali's economic growth should remain strong in the range of 5 to 5.8%. Furthermore, it's said that Bali's economic growth is quite high and is supported by low and controlled inflation, although we're going to talk about inflation in just a minute. In 2023, the CPI inflation was recorded at 2.64%, in line with the target of 3%, plus or minus 1%. Through various inflation control programs, Bali's inflation in 2023 is predicted to stay within the target that I just mentioned. In 2024, the inflation is expected to remain in the range of 2.5%. The head of Bali province, Bapeda, conveyed 4 strategies for accelerating Bali's economic growth. 1, accelerating the realization of the Provincial Regency City APBD and APBN. That's the amount of money coming in for each region. Controlling inflation, investing, and accelerating programs of social assistance and poverty alleviation programs. The transformation of the tourism sector and economic diversification has been carried out through 6 main strategies, namely Healthy and Smart Bali, Productive Bali, Smart Island Bali, Green Bali, Integrated Bali, and Conducive and Integrity Bali. Rapid digitalization plays an important role in supporting Bali's achievement of economic growth in the third quarter of this year. So, good news on the economic front. Things are developing here, and that is a good sign, but we're going to talk about some inflation problems in just a minute. But first, let's talk about waste, and waste in Buleleng in particular. To support waste processing, 10 TPS 3R units are proposed to be built in Buleleng. A total of 10 reduce, reuse, recycle, that's the TPS3R, waste management site units are proposed to be built in several villages in Buleleng, up here in the north. This is done to reduce the accumulation of waste at the Bengkala landfill, and that's full from what I understand. The proposal has been submitted to the appropriate ministry. Following up on this proposal, the Bali Regional Settlement Infrastructure Center technical team has begun surveying locations, looking for more sites in the Regency. Began surveying the location of planned construction of TPS3R sites. One of the places surveyed was in Setra village in Buleleng here, and the Bali Regional Settlement Infrastructure Survey team said that in Bali this year there were 60 proposals for sites, and there are going to be 10 that will be spread across several villages. And surveying is going on to make sure of land readiness and the sustainability of these sites. The center will facilitate development facilities and infrastructure, but once it's built, it can't be abandoned. So we have to ensure that sustainability and independence from its management. According to a spokesperson, Bali received the most assistance for TPS3R construction from the center because the level of installation so far has been very small. And the survey of the results is being immediately sent to the appropriate ministry for a development decree. The construction is planned to be carried out next year in stages, of course, with a budget for each site being approximately 500 million rupiah. Now, of the 10 sites that are picked out of the 60, not all of them are necessarily going to pass. Only those that meet the requirements will pass. So I'm not sure how they're going to get to those 10. If they're going to narrow it down to 10 and then maybe they don't work, not really clear by this article. But the goal is to get 10 sites up here in Buleleng. The construction of TPS3R is being intensively carried out in each village to reduce the burden of waste entering in the area. Moreover, in Bali, there's a gubernatorial regulation which requires every village to have a site. Whoa, okay, I didn't know that, but that sounds like a good thing, definitely. Meanwhile, the head of Buleleng Traditional Villages said that Buleleng has 14 traditional banjars and 10 sub-districts. Every day, the amount of household waste produced reaches 3 to 4 containers. This rubbish has been collected around Buleleng Traditional Villages. This rubbish has been collected around the traditional village in Setra, this is what we're talking about, and then disposed of at the Bengkala landfill. According to Pak Sutrisna from the village, he said that at this time, his party wants to get the TPS3R, and so they have an appropriate way to manage the waste. Operational costs will be covered by the government, and that's estimated to reach about 10 million rupiah a month. And the construction of these sites is approximately 40 by 16 meters. With the introduction of these waste management sites, waste in the village can be sorted, organic waste can be used by the community for planting. Good idea. And so, some good solid plans to deal with waste management on a village-to-village basis. And let's talk a little bit about crime here in Bali because, well, you go from the one extreme paradise and everything is lovely here, people, and it's just, wow, there's no problems, to the other people that really are here but complain about Bali all the time. Bali is hell. Wow, it's not safe anywhere. Well, it's somewhere in between, right? Bali is an island with regular people. Nobody here is an angel, well, as a group, and nobody is the devil either. But there is a lot of theft going on right now in certain areas, and well, if you follow this channel, you know what areas I'm talking about. And here is a story about one, just to remember, because a friend of mine recently was here, and of course, wow, her phone got snatched right away. First day she was here, because she was out in the street holding her phone, and this is what happened here. Let's take a look at it. Moldovan tourist admits to being a victim of mugging. A man from the Republic of Moldova and his friend came to West Denpasar Police Headquarters the other day to report an incident that they were victims of a mugging while they were crossing the road in North Kuta district on Jalan Kasambi. The victim admitted that at the time of the incident, he and his friend were riding a motorbike. When he arrived at the crime scene, a motorbike rider passed by, suddenly grabbed his motorbike, grabbed the phone he was looking at, and then stepped on the gas and fled off. And this is standard MO these days. Whether you're walking down the street holding your phone up looking at it, or on your motorbike trying to figure out directions, not a good thing to do. Okay, I just got bit by an ant here. Got a lot of ants today. The victim could not chase the perpetrator, and he tried to find the location of his cell phone via iCloud, and the application showed that the last position of the cell phone was on Jalan Gunung Soputan in West Denpasar. Following up on this, the head of West Denpasar Police sent some people out to look for the phone, but they were unable to find it or the perps. After ensuring that the incident location of the crime scene was within the legal territory of North Kuta Police, the victim was taken to the North Kuta Police headquarters to make a police report. Further investigation was carried out by North Kuta Police officers. They directed the victims to make the report there because of jurisdiction issues. And so they did make an official report, and the crime is still under investigation. If you're out wandering around in these areas where there's lots of tourists, keep your phone, keep it in your pocket where it's not easily accessible for the bad guys who are driving around looking for phones. And if you're a victim, start yelling, start screaming, get the attraction of local people. They will help you. Local people do not like this. It is not good for Bali, it's not good for the reputation of Bali, not good for tourism. And so if you let local people know that you have been a victim of a mugging, the overwhelming odds are that they are going to jump to your assistant right away. I've had that experience myself a long time ago. And wow, people got out and helped me right away and recovered almost all of my belongings. And wow, was I fortunate. Okay, so be safe out there. And we're getting a new international airport. Okay, Komodo Airport upgraded to international airport. The Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, who else but Pak Sandiaga Uno, said that the Komodo Airport in Labuan Bajo has been upgraded to international status. Pak Sandi said, according to Pak Jokowi's direction, Komodo International Airport is a super priority tourism destination, and so it is going to be able to receive direct flights from various countries. There's already 3 countries interested in opening up direct flights to Komodo Labuan Bajo International Airport: Australia, Malaysia, and Singapore. With direct flights from several countries, Pak Sandi is confident that the target of 1 million passengers served by the airport can be achieved in 2024. And they intend on adding additional flights and seats. Pak Sandi said, yeah, there are complaints about expensive plane tickets to Labuan Bajo. There was a comment about that the other day here. And according to him, the ticket problem can be resolved by increasing the number of flights and seat availability. He said a complaint from the tourism and creative economy community said that ticket prices are expensive. Therefore, we're going to increase the number of flights and seats in line with the readiness of the tourism ecosystem here in Labuan Bajo. The head of Komodo Airport ensured the facilities and infrastructure at Komodo Airport were worthy of being an international airport. The airport has a runway of 2,650 meters and 45 meters wide, so it can accommodate aircraft like the Boeing 737 and the Airbus A3200, A320. Okay. And more in tourism news, cruise ships coming to Buleleng, bringing hundreds of foreign tourists. Cruise ship docks in Buleleng. The Seven Seas Explorer cruise ship docked at Chulukan Bawang Harbor in Gorogak on Wednesday, the other day. The cruise ship carried 596 tourists from various countries. The tourists were invited to visit several main tourist attractions in Buleleng for 2 days. The head of Buleleng Regency Tourism Service, Pak Dodi, talked about many times, said that the tourists are using the services of local tourism agents, and they were invited to tour various destinations and enjoy trips to the Singaraja city, over to here. I didn't see him. I was out the other day. Didn't see him, but, well, Foreign tourists are welcome with traditional Balinese dance performances, he said. Representatives of the ship's passengers and crews were also greeted with garlands of flowers and immediately taken on tours by agents. The tourists who visited, Pak Dodi said, are being invited to visit a number of tourist destinations such as the Banjar Hot Springs, Arama Banjar Vihara, Lingguang Kyong Temple, right down the street here, Beji Temple, Sangset Village, Jagarata War Monument, and more. That's right here. And down in south of Buleleng Regency, invited to go to Panchasari, Wanagiri, Munduk. And all the visiting tourists have been escorted directly by agents on land. Pak Dodi said that most of the tourists who visited are elderly, so most of them just look at the tourist destinations and do a little bit of shopping. But Pak Dodi was optimistic about being able to increase the regional original income, PAD, in Buleleng through things like this cruise ship. He said those entering tourist attractions are subject to a ticket levy, and eating lunch at a restaurant is also subject to 10% tax. Obviously, we get PAD levies from that, and the cruise ship is docked in Buleleng is the 7th ship this year. We've had 7 ships this year. Wow. Okay, and let's get back to this inflation, right? We're going back to another story about the economy here. Buleleng ranks 4th highest inflation in Bali, according to the headline, but according to inside it's different. Chili prices are seen as the major trigger, and, well, where are my chilies? And as I've mentioned before, we grow our own chilies here. My lovely and crazy wife, who's an urban farmer now, has chilies, and she just harvested a kilo, and she said they're as much as 100,000 rupiahs now, 90,000 according to this story, but she said, no, I see them going for 100,000 too, and so she said, just saved yourself 100,000 from our chilies. And these are excellent, excellent, excellent. Based on data from Bali Central Statistics Agency, BPS, Buleleng's inflation rate for the calendar year 2022 to November 2023 was 3.86%. This makes Buleleng ranked 4th nationally, it said, after Merauke, Sumenep, and Tanjung Pandan. So, wow, 4th nationally, not just in Bali. One of the reasons for this is the soaring price of chili. Buleleng Regional Secretary Gede Suyasa confirmed that inflation in Buleleng is currently quite high. He said this is due to the price of chilies, which is currently as much as 90,000 per kilogram. Suyasa said that the price increase occurred because chili production at the farmer level is small. So to meet people's needs, chili has to be imported from outside Bali. And in the past, the trigger for inflation was caused by rice. But he said now the price of rice has stabilized and chili is here because there's so little production. To reduce this inflation rate, his party, through a number of different procedures, will intervene with the price of chili on the market. And they are also proposing to seek funds from unexpected expenditures in 2023 to subsidize logistics transportation costs for a number of basic materials supplied from outside the region. According to Pak Suyasa, Buleleng is targeting to be in deflation by this month. Okay, I hope so, but my wife said prices are really going up here. Even though in the near future the price of basic necessities is threatened with a rise due to Christmas and New Year, he said that there are various strategies that are being implemented that will help reduce inflation. Okay, that is it for today. Busy day, it is Friday. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. And if you're here, I hope you're enjoying yourself. And if you're planning on coming here, well, hope you have safe travels. See you next time.